I mean, being a woman in this society, in this time and age, is also very difficult to be a woman, because just to maintain a woman is expensive. Like to go to a salon, to do your nails, to do like TLC is so expensive. So if you sit at home without your own income, and every time you need to ask money from someone you call a provider, he doesn't really see you as his wife. He starts looking at you as a liability, someone who depends on them.
It depends on the man. Like
all the time.
You can afford it.
You can't.
Like if you want to a trad wife, you need to be able to afford it. Yeah. Afford that
and
lifestyle.
So many people cannot.
Without resenting, without like if you can't afford it, then that's just like today's world, and things are expensive. But if you want one, like if you're someone who's actually looking for one, you better be able ready to afford it.
All right, I saw this video like most people several days ago, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it since. This video really struck a chord with me because what happened to me. I am 27. I got divorced at 26 after I had done the trad wife thing. I got married at 19. I had 3 babies, and I was a stay-at-home mom. I dropped out of college. I didn't have a job. So at 20, we separated when I was 25. So at 25 years old, I had nothing. I didn't have an education. I didn't have a work history. Because of those 2 things, when we went to court over custody of our kids, he was able to point to those. He asked me for the divorce. He fought for custody of the kids. Given I had stayed home and taken care of these kids as my full-time situation for 6 years. And he was able to say, you know, she doesn't have a job. She doesn't have an education. She lives with her mom and dad. She can't take care of these kids, and he got primary custody of our kids. And so every video that I see now of trad wives, and people idealizing this lifestyle, it makes my heart break. It like hits a chord with me because I did everything right. I did all the things you were supposed to do. Stay home and raise your babies and do all of that. And in the end, I got left out on my ass with nothing. I did not get my kids. I did not have a job. It was very difficult for me to get a job when you don't have a work history or an education. It's very hard to get a job that can pay your bills when you do that. And so when I first saw this video, I literally have not been able to stop thinking about it, because this is real life. This can happen to you. You know, thinking, oh, he's my husband, whatever, may not protect you in the long run. Like, when you have nothing. So, this is like a PSA to women, that like, that can happen to you. I know there's a lot of misconceptions out in the world that like, oh, moms always get custody, judges default to moms. Well, the fact of the matter is, like, if you have just been a mom this whole time and he fights for those kids, he puts up a fight, he has everything in his favor because he has the financial means to raise children and you don't. When he puts you out, like what happened to me. So just think about that, ladies. Think about the reality of that, because it's literally heartbreaking and it's so hard to build your life up after that.
And also, but I think it's still like, no, I think that this, as long as, I know this is not trad wife specifically, but as long as society feels like being a mom is sitting at home doing nothing, because even like, I know that they don't really mean it, but it's just like the language, the way they say it is like, it's crazy to me. And I don't even have kids, but I see it, and it's like, it just does not, as long as society, like men in society feel that way, I know it's not intentional. Yeah. And if we really talk about it, they'll say like, no, that's not what I mean. And it really, but in the end, it's like, why are we still having this conversation? Like,
and it all boils down to the fact that our work is not remunerated. Because if household work, being a housewife was remunerated, was paid for, I mean, the discussion will be different.
I'll tell you a trick. If you want to be remunerated, how do they call it?
Be paid.
If you want to be paid for all the hard work you've done, well, just get a divorce. 9 out of 10 times,
Yeah, and
the judge will be on your side.
Yeah, then
Take half
that's
of his
what they
stuff
should
and
do.
give it to
Yeah,
you.
but that's the thing. It's like
No. The thing is that most women,
But it's not his
most women
stuff.
who have kids with their husband, they want to be married. But the problem is that society has made it in such a way that the work that women do and is not remunerated. I'll give you an example, like from an African perspective.
Yeah.
Most African women, most African wives, they work almost 24 hours a day. Like when the husband goes out to work, they go to the fields to work. They go to the farm, they go to the market to sell, like petty trading, they do that. They contribute a lot to the running of the household. Sometimes they even pay like fees for their kids and all that. But that goes unseen because it's coming from the wife. It's coming from, I don't know if I want to use this. I'm not really comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable. I want to talk. So it's disturbing me.
No.
Yeah. So like they're not, it goes unseen because they don't have like constant, like that fixed amount of money that's coming from there. But if you sit down and make the calculations, you see that they contribute a lot. And I can say that they contribute about 50% of the money that goes into the running of the household. But it's unseen, unheard, and it's unpaid.
And what I would say is, like, if you want a wife that works, that's great,
Mm-hmm.
but you better be doing 50% of the raising of the children.
Of course.
And like, if that's the case, yes, but it's like, now that women are working, I don't know the exact statistics, but we can pull them out really quickly. It's like women are proven to do more household chores, and like the numbers back up that now women have 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And that's not seen. So I just, it's like, for sure, I'm all for women working. I love to work. I would be lying if I'm not a traditional wife, so I can't talk about that lifestyle.
Yeah.
But if I had kids right now and I was working, I would expect to not do the 2 jobs on my own.
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's a very good point, because sometimes as a wife, normally as a female, like as a woman, we are trained to take care of the household. Like when you're growing up, when boys and girls are growing up, they always make sure they teach the girls how to cook, how to clean, how to do this. So they are already preparing the girl to be a wife. So I'm talking from an African perspective, but I have seen these like rarely in the Western world. I've lived in the Western world. I've seen it somehow in the Western world, but generally in Africa, most females are raised to be wives. And the guys are not so much into the training of being like a homemaker to take care of the house. So when women grow up, we already have the skills to be a homemaker. So by the time you get married, even when you are working out of the house, you're doing like paid job 9 to 5, you are still coming back to do the household work, like to manage the home, like seamlessly. But at the end of the day, when we sit and we see situations like this, when a woman has sacrificed like her entire life to be a housewife, to make kids and be with a man, and now she's been dumped and the man moves on to another woman, we begin to think about it like all the sacrifices are unseen, they are unheard. So what is the problem?